Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial for our latest pattern designed by my sister Cindy, who has the YouTube channel Sugar Joy. If many of you have been following along, I've been teaching her how to crochet, and because I knew she would have like such cute ideas in her brain. And look at this that she came up with. An easy way to make a little pom-pom fringe at the top of a hat. It's all single crochet, slip stitch. We are calling this our fun fringe hat. Very beginner friendly. You need to know single crochet, slip stitch, chain, and I'll show you the half double slip stitch or yarn over slip stitch for the little fringe. Easy construction, and we'll put this together. I'm using Bernat Softy Baby Cotton because I have a new little grandbaby coming on the way, and I'm actually going to make this even smaller for her. But you know, you can make this any size, and we'll talk about how to adjust for size for who you want to make it for. Use any yarn that you'd like to. Okay, well, let's just get started. All right, something you're going to want to have on hand is a tape measure. I love to do my base chains more to size than a specific number. We're going to give you a specific number in the pattern to help you out as a guideline, but really what you want to do is add 2 inches to the measurement of, you know, a standard baby's hat size from the forehead to the crown. We're adding 2 inches to that. So sometimes you can measure maybe under your chin up to the crown of your head. So, but 2 inches is what we want to do for this brim to be able to fold it up. So a little newborn's, this is going to be newborn size. So I want to make this 7 inches because a little newborn needs about 5 inches of height. So let's see if we've got that there. Yeah, hey, I was about right on, 7 inches. And for 7 inches, it's about 34 stitches, 34 chains. So if you prefer having an exact number. So this would be for a newborn. We're going to start in the second chain from the hook with single crochet and work single crochet 1 into each chain until we reach the last 5 chains of the row. So in the last 5 chains, I'm going to slip stitch. So just insert my hook, yarn over, pull through the stitch and through the loop. That's just a slip stitch. Boom, boom. This will help to narrow in the top of the hat. So this is the top of the hat. Okay, so we've got those 5 slip stitches. Now we're going to create our first little fringe by chaining 13. Okay, let's change up that slip stitch just a little bit by yarning over first before we insert our hook. So I'm working into the second chain from the hook. I'm yarning over, inserting my hook, and then bringing the yarn back through, and now through 2 loops on my hook. So I want to slip stitch into each of the next 12 chains. There should be 12. Because we chained out 13, but then we counted that first one as our turning chain. So there should be 12 back towards the edge of the hat. Okay, here's our last one there. And now we're going to repeat what we just ended with. I'm looking for the back loop of the slip stitch. So sometimes you gotta help that stitch along. We're going to slip stitch for 5. Try and keep these loose, but even then it's hard. I know. It's where my Susan Bates hook comes in handy with that little point on the end. And it gets a little bit easier the more the hat grows. Okay, so let's make sure that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's work underneath both loops, both little V's, and we will work single crochet all the way back down to the end of the hat. Okay, so what we have is all of our single crochets, the slip stitches, and then our first little fringe right here. Now on this row, we don't need to make a fringe. We're going to chain 1 and turn and just work the single crochets and the 5 slip stitches, and then chain 1 and turn. So essentially every other row is where we will be making a fringe. So I just completed all the single crochets, and I want to work into the back loop of the slip stitch. And if you have a hard time seeing these stitches, go ahead and mark this. If you have a hard time seeing, where the first slip stitch is, give that first one a little mark and then you'll know. Okay, I've got my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not making fringe this time. So we'll just chain 1 and turn. Let's work the 5 slip stitches. And here we go with the single crochet. So basically the next row you'll chain 1 and turn, and that will be a fringe row. So you will alternate a fringe row with a non-fringe row until you have about 12 inches of width. And then I'll show you how to sew up the side and gather the top together, and then you're done. Some other cute ideas my sister and I have been thinking about to do with this hat, and is to make like for the fall, and I could have done this for Halloween, but I've kind of run out of time. But you could make the hat part orange and switch color for the tassels and just do the tassels in green. Or for Christmas, which I'm hoping to do, I'm gonna make this hat red, and I actually want to switch to like that Bernat Pipsqueak, which has a Sherpa look to it. I want to see if I can get that to work. I think that would be so cute. To have a red hat with the white little Sherpa squirrelies fringe at the top. So I think you could use your imagination here. I just love how my sister was able, we sort of collaborated together. The idea came up on our crochet sister chat that we've been doing every Wednesday. And we brainstormed, and she was attaching this fringe separately. And then I told her, I said, I think you could just do it while you're crocheting so that you don't have to go back and make the tassels or the fringe. And she figured it out and did it, and we sort of developed this pattern together. So boy, it has been nothing but fun to be able to teach my sister how to crochet and have her be interested in it. I just think that sometimes all throughout the year, she just figured she never could do it. It wasn't her thing. She saw us do it, but she really just put her mind to it and sat down and figured it out. And I'm so glad she did, because let me tell you, she's an artist by nature, and she just has so much. I love her designs. They're very whimsical and fun. So anyway, her channel is Sugar Joy, that she's just starting, and she's sharing her crochet journey and what she's learning. And loves vintage things, loves vintage crochet magazines. She has a lot of knowledge that way. She's the absolute most fun person to go thrift store shopping with, because she knows the good stuff. And look at that. I've talked my way all the way back up to this, to the top of the hat. So I'm going to do the 5 slip stitches, and I will chain 13, do those those yarn over slip stitches, and work my way to about 12 inches in width. All right, so this is some video footage that I previously took with as I was making the cream colored hat. So what I'm going to show you here is that you want to tie off at the bottom edge of the hat and give yourself a fairly long tail. You're going to pull that yarn through and use your tapestry needle. We're going to be sewing the 2 sides together. So I just fold it in half, and I try and match the stitches up, and simply thread that needle and start doing, I think they call it the whip stitch. So I'm going underneath the starting chain and the next stitches, and underneath the stitches that coordinates. So I just try and do it as neatly as possible, always going in on one side of the hat and underneath the other side, just kind of in a circular motion. Because we don't want that, we want the seam. The seam is going to show a little bit on the back side of the hat, so I try and do it as neatly as possible. All right, I'm here at the top of the hat, and now I'm simply going to, and here's, kind of what I was showing you about the seam. So I think it looks okay. Now I'll just take that needle in and out the top stitches there, and we're gathering the top of the hat together. So I'm working right into the last stitch of the row before we went out for the fringe. So just really easily, I'm trying to, pull it tightly as I go. All right, once you've made it all the way around the hat, you can just pull it in tight and, pull it as tight as you can. And I'm going to go ahead and secure it by tying a knot with that starting chain. Not starting chain, the tail from our first chain, from that base chain row. I'll just pull it in, squeeze it really tight, get that as tight as possible. Knot it up, and then I will weave those ends in. Kind of go around and make sure that it's secure at the top too. Take a couple rounds more. All right, once you've got that, I snipped off the ends. All the ends are woven in, and then you fold up the little brim. And we've got ourselves a darling little fun fringe beanie. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. I kind of combined two videos here today because I had videotaped the making of this for a little reel that I put together on Instagram. And so I just went ahead and used that footage, talked you through it. So I'm gonna go sit down now, finish the baby version of this hat for my newest little granddaughter that should be here in about 2 weeks on her way. Can't wait to meet her. So anyway, make sure you go visit and subscribe to my sister's YouTube channel, Sugar Joy, and send her the love and encourage her on her crochet journey, because I mean, if this is an indication of just her first ideas, I think we're in store for a lot more fun from her. So thanks everyone. Have a wonderful day.